Yes, Michonne. Very attractive indeed. Hey everyone, Davey here, back again to review The Walking Dead. This time it is for episode 11 of season 4, entitled Claimed. And of course, spoilers for the episode are going to follow in this video. Now this is what I was talking about. This is what I wanted from last week. My biggest complaint about last week's episode was the fact that they just suffocated the episode with what everybody was doing, with the exception of Michonne and Rick and Carl, after what happened in the prison. And I just felt like it was very clustered with all of this stuff that was going on. Here, this is what I really wish they would have done with last week's episode, where they at least, at the very most, they should have tackled 2, maybe 3 stories and then left the others for their own respective episodes. And here they went back to Rick and Michonne and Carl with giving you more about this character Abraham Ford, who, I'm just going to say right now, I am going to love. So far, it's only been 1 episode, and I'm already enjoying this character. I'm already wishing, come on, let's see him again, because I am loving this guy. And the actor who plays him, I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, actually. I've seen it in places here and there, especially in news articles about his casting. But so far, I can tell you, I love this guy. I don't know if he's going to be like a villain like the governor was, or if he's just going to be this form of antagonistic force that our characters kind of clash every now and then with. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know that much about his character, but I'm hoping to rely on the series with that, because so far I'm liking what I'm seeing in Abraham. Him and the people that he's traveling with kind of gives Glenn and, I can't remember his name, but the girl that was under the governor's leadership, it gives him some sort of reinforcement. I mean, yeah, they have some sort of agenda, and you can kind of tell. I love this dynamic that's going on with that scientist, Eugene, who apparently is revealed to know how to fix all this, which really gives a driving, like, I love that they are introducing this in the season, because up until this point, it's all been about survival, what it takes to survive in this world. How can we not go back to our old ways? And don't get me wrong, I appreciate all of that, especially some of the more psychological aspects of what it takes to live in this world. But to go ahead and bring back the whole, hey, we might just be able to save the world. It might actually happen. I just feel like we've been stuck in this world and been stuck with the whole message about survival, that to introduce this glimmer of hope of actually bringing back the human race, it really gets me going. It really makes me want to watch even more Walking Dead and see how this plays out in season 5, because we only got about 5 episodes left, so I don't see this extinguishing by the end of this season. If it does, then wow, it's going to be kind of heavy. In fact, I might not like it quite a bit, but if it does get carried on over to season 5, I really want to see what happens with that. And this is the first official episode that Abraham is in, so we're not going to get the full backstory. They're not going to shove all of this exposition down our throats in just 1 episode, and I'm glad that they didn't. So Abraham's motivation to go to Washington with this guy is still shrouded in mystery, but fortunately, because of the way the character is written and the way that he's portrayed by this actor, I really want to see some more Abraham and see what direction they take this character. At the other end of town, we got Rick, Michonne, and Carl. And Michonne and Carl decide to go on a run and get supplies. And this run serves as a way to go ahead and kind of recap on what Michonne's backstory was, because it was in the mid-season premiere that we finally got our glimpse into Michonne's past, and then we didn't really have anything to do with Michonne or Rick and Carl for that matter in the last episode, so we kind of came back to it by having Carl know about this secret past to Michonne. And the fact that she went ahead and told Carl and not Rick, and like she says, it's not so much a secret, it's just that kind of thing like, hey, nobody asked me, so I'm just not gonna come forward and tell, which makes sense, especially for Michonne. It just made that bond between Michonne and Carl just ever so strong, and I'm definitely rooting for these characters, because these two characters, I remember them just not liking each other in the beginning when Michonne found herself in the prison for the first time back in season 3, and now they're just the best of friends, especially from Michonne's point of view, since she kind of sees Carl as that person that's going to fill in that void of having a son. And you can kind of see shades of that in this episode, where she's trying her best to make him laugh with this cheese and everything. And not only does that make that bond even stronger, but it just makes Michonne a whole lot more likable than she was in the beginning. I mean, guys, think back to how Michonne was at the beginning, where she was just like, the entire season 3, and it's now she's going with string cheese. She's so amazing. However, I have two concerns because of that. One, I'm a little nervous that Michonne will get just a little soft, and she's gonna go the way of Wolverine by the third X-Men movie, where he's kind of a wimp, and he's not that visceral obliterator of enemies, or in this case zombies, with Michonne. And I really hope that they retain that. I really hope that they're able to strike a good balance between having a sympathetic character and at the same time having a complete badass, which I feel they did with the mid-season premiere, where they finally explained the backstory to Michonne. And here, she's not getting overly comfortable, but she's just hitting that point to where it does raise a concern in me that will she become soft enough to the point where if zombies were to attack and place Carl in danger, will she kind of like, she'll become petrified, and she'll have flashbacks back to when she lost her kid, and she's not going to be able to act like she used to, and then she's going to go back to her old ways of being silent and moody and brooding and everything. I'm nervous that that's the direction they're going to take with Michonne. The other direction that I'm also concerned about is killing her off. Alright? You don't make a character that likable without having the possibility of killing that character off in the remainder of the season. After all, there's a rumor going around that there's going to be one more big character death by the end of the season, and I'm praying to God it is not Michonne, because so far I am loving her. And what I also dug is that they could have easily made Rick a bit of a couch potato here, just having him lie in bed and read and think about his past and all that, but no, we're gonna go ahead and put you in some tough shit and have these guys come into the house and have him hide underneath the bed. And to be honest, I was actually quite at the edge of my seat, because I found that entire plot in this episode to be quite suspenseful. I was just like, come on, Rick, just sneak out. I did find it a little, which I guess I could use as a segue into what I didn't like about this episode so much. Did find it a little convenient that there just happened to be a walker inside the house that for some reason Rick and Carl and Michonne never saw when they were in that house, because he was about to take out that guy when Michonne and Carl were coming, but then you hear Rah! And apparently there was a walker in the house. Why? How did Michonne and Rick miss that? They were in that house for like what, 2 days now? So I don't get it. Maybe the fact that the door was open and these guys managed to sneak their way in is the same reason why Walker managed to sneak in as well. Maybe. But I really wish that they would have elaborated on that just a little more. But I did think it was a little convenient that, oh, Walker, okay, so now, you know, Rick gets to go and warn Michonne and Carl and get them away from the house before the bad guys get a chance to kill them. Which leads to another interesting plot device at the end of this episode. Will Rick and Carl and Michonne reunite with Judith and Tyrese and Carol when they meet at this sanctuary? Those who arrive survive. They see by the way, who the hell's posting all these flyers all over the place, all these banners? Anyways, this really, it's starting to build towards a confrontation. Okay, I just feel it in my bones that there's going to be some form of confrontation between Rick, Carol, and Tyrese, and quite possibly Daryl, should he find himself in that place, that sanctuary of some kind, eventually in the season, which we might get a glimmer of in the next episode. My only other complaint would have to be that Carl once again was starting to act like usual Carl when Michonne was trying to make him laugh. But fortunately, that did not last long, because eventually Carl came up with a little retort saying, I was laughing inside, and I kind of like that Carl went ahead and broke the ice there. Other than that, I really like this episode far more than I did last week's, and I definitely think that this is not only a step up, but also a potential stepping stone to what, like I said, might just be a big confrontation in this sanctuary between Rick and Tyrese and Carol and Daryl, should he find himself there as well. And who knows, maybe Glenn along with Abraham will arrive. Who knows? We still got 5 episodes left, and so far I'm liking what I'm seeing, and Abraham is a definite catalyst to make me want to continue watching the show. I give Claimed a 9 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this episode. The things that I didn't like so much about it, they were actually quite minuscule. Not to mention, this is probably by technical default, the sexiest episode of The Walking Dead. I mean, you got Michonne in that shirt, and then you got the girl that Glenn was with, and then you got Rosita, Abraham's partner there. So let me know what you guys thought of Claimed if you did watch it, and I'll be back next week with my review of episode 12. I'll see you guys then. Take care.